Hello guys, my name is Nick and you are watching The Sports Entertainer. Make sure you have subscribed to our channel with post notifications turned on so that you never miss out on one of our daily WWE videos. Well guys, as many fans were anticipating, as soon as it was revealed that Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose to the WWE Universe, would be a special guest on Chris Jericho's podcast, Talk Is Jericho this week, Moxley undoubtedly let his feelings known regarding the WWE and Vince McMahon specifically, and by all means, it certainly doesn't showcase Moxley's former employer in a very great light. Throughout the 1.5-hour interview with Jericho, Jon Moxley went on a rant regarding his run in the WWE, as well as the frustrations that he went through before Ambrose inevitably decided to leave the company following WrestleMania 35. Among the shots that Jon Moxley took towards the WWE, and more specifically Vince McMahon, a noteworthy one is definitely Moxley revealing that he was forced by Vince to say cringy, nonsensical things during promos that Dean felt would hurt his character, and when he had tried to convince McMahon to change the script, Vince shot Ambrose's attempts down and forced the script to go on as planned anyways. As well, one highlighted incident that convinced Dean Ambrose that his time with the WWE was effectively over was when Dean had to include a line in a promo regarding Roman Reigns, who at the time was in recovery from leukemia, and Moxley had confronted Vince and stated that it shouldn't be said, though McMahon eventually wore Ambrose down to say it, which certainly didn't sit well with Ambrose afterwards. On top of that, there was one reported promo line on Roman Reigns, which Ambrose refused to reveal to Chris Jericho on this podcast, that Jon Moxley felt as though if he had caved in to Vince and utilized the line in one of his promos, the WWE would have almost definitely lost a sponsor, namely the Susan G. Komen sponsor, and Ambrose revealed that Vince could have been put in a predicament where Dean would have been forced by sponsors to be released from the WWE. Beyond these said claims, Jon Moxley also went into further detail on the creative restrictions and limitations that Vince imposed on talent, including himself and others, as well as revealing that during his meeting with Vince McMahon on his creative frustrations, Vince was essentially caught off guard and got emotional. And while McMahon apparently assured Dean that he wasn't going to bury him, considering the Nia Jax squash match, which was rumored to take place before it was canned due to sponsor backlash, it's clear the sadness that Vince felt quickly turned into pure fury and anger directed at Jon Moxley. To put things in short, Jon Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, summed up the fact that not only is Vince McMahon severely out of touch with reality when it comes to the wrestling business in 2019, as well as a bulk majority of the current creative writers working for WWE have very poor taste in certain regards, which undoubtedly reflects negatively on the WWE. According to one of our sources, Vince McMahon got wind of Dean Ambrose's podcast with Chris Jericho this morning, and as you would likely expect or anticipate, Vince was in the frame of mind that he seems to be normalizing these days after listening to a couple of the highlighted parts on the podcast, and that is absolutely furious, with one source claiming that Vince believes Ambrose is betraying the confidentiality the two shared behind the scenes in WWE, and that Moxley is intentionally trying to expose WWE for AEW's gain, likely at Cody Rhodes' request. Regardless, there's no doubt that Jon Moxley made the right choice to exit the WWE when he did, because if he hadn't, after venting his frustrations to Vince McMahon, you can be assured that Vince would have continued booking Ambrose in a downward spiral, and taking into account the fact that Dean revealed he was literally sick, physically and mentally, every Monday night due to the BS he knew was coming his way from Vince McMahon, Moxley is unquestionably in a much better frame of mind right now in AEW. With all this being said, what are your guys' thoughts on Dean Ambrose exposing the WWE and Vince McMahon during his recent podcast with Chris Jericho? Do you believe Moxley is in the right to reveal the things that he had mentioned, or is Vince's reported reaction that Ambrose is breaking confidentiality to further along AEW correct? Make sure you sound off in the comment section down below, and do give us your thoughts and opinions on the matter. Thanks for watching The Sports Entertainer. Make sure you leave a like and comment, and also be sure that you hit that subscribe button for all of our daily WWE videos.